So the wind is picking up. In fact, it is holding at 11.5 knots and building, so we'll have a little more pace on the course today. Now, the big question is, we approach 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and Emirates Team New Zealand getting port entry. Do you play it differently this time if you're Dean Barker?
I don't know if you do. You just have to get across. Nothing's really changed in the starting line, in the starting box. You got to get across and line yourself up, but it's so much harder to do time and distance, Todd, when it's this light. The acceleration, if you have a tiny puff, you could take off in a shot. If it's a lull, you could be really slow to accelerate. That's the hardest thing for these sailors to try to figure out.
1 minute. It's actually ebbing a bit here for the entry. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of pressure for the pre-start.
The problem Oracle Team USA has coming into the box is that once they bear off, they're going directly into the current, so it's going to actually be very hard to get the Emirates to New Zealand.
See Winston McFarland still on the boat, so this is 2 races in a row for Winston, and Grant Dalton is still off the boat.
Full pace. 13, 14 from it.
New Zealand looks early.
Kiwis are in at 2:04. So here we go. It's race number 13, day number 10. Moments after the Kiwis on their way to winning the America's Cup, the race was abandoned. The time limit was exceeded.
Stand by jive here, guys.
This is more of a traditional starting sequence that we've seen the whole series, not the super light air one we saw about an hour ago, but they both still have their code zeros furled up. They think it's going to be light enough for a non-foiling downwind leg. That's really the difference. If you can foil, no code zeros. If you can't foil, you throw them up there.
Right now, the wind is too strong to use those code zeros, Ken. I don't think we'll see them unless the wind goes down a little.
Here we go.
Not killing much. He's probably under a bit then.
Keep trimming, guys. Keep trimming.
With this ebb current, this
Really
should traditionally be helping out the position that Team New Zealand is in. They like that left hand,
Let's go, boys. Got to get us
that
going.
left hand lane.
Still ahead, but yeah.
Just a huge moment for Oracle. Can they shake off this morning's beating that they took?
New Zealand doing a very good job setting themselves up to be in a good position.
30, not a lot to kill to the boat.
Trim on, trim.
Are you killing 7 here?
Yeah, nothing to kill.
Oracle going for a hook. I don't think Dean Barker falls for this one. He'll bear away, hopefully fast enough. If he's too slow here, he could get an overlap and he could be in trouble.
Trim out, trim.
Barely stays
Also
calm.
Get it going. Get it started very slowly.
By barely getting going, he's going to have total control of this start, Todd.
Solid pressure here. All clear.
So Jimmy Spithill goes for a hook at the start of race number 13, can't get it, and he puts Dean Barker and the Kiwis in prime position.
Gutsy move by Dean Barker, letting him close the gap so tightly, yet keeping just clear ahead. That allowed him to pull the trigger and to have a dominant start.
So the race for the America's Cup is on. New Zealand needing just one more victory, and the cup is theirs. The Americans need to win out to retain.
Gutsy, Ken, I would say brilliant.
At mark number 1, Emirates Team New Zealand has the lead. Can they make it stick? The wind is picking up to 12 knots now, peaking at 15, and the Americans just 3 seconds behind.
No code zeros.
And Ken, in the last race, I don't even think we were even halfway to mark number 1 at this point.
Exactly.
Holding best
easily up on their foils, so that pretty much eliminates the code zeros for now. They'll keep them in the air just in case they get a light spot and need to use the sails to get out of it.
Really good pressure down this side.
Oracle Team USA doing a very good job sailing low here. That's helping them.
Yeah, but it's right down into the bad air of Emirates Team New Zealand, Gary. I think it's usually a temporary gain. They sail down into that wing wash and they can't make it stick.
You're exactly right. Big ball, Ken.
Nice game here, Dino.
Todd, we just don't really know which boat is better in this condition right now. You know, we talked earlier about Oracle making the huge improvements at the upper end, at the top end of the wind range. Is that going to be a big detriment to what they can do at the bottom end? How much should they change their boat overnight towards the lighter air configuration?
Well, we certainly learned the boats are pretty even going downwind. The big test is going to windward on Lake 3.
This watch getting slow and the next low. Good gains. Very nice here.
Good discipline by Dean Barker, not looking back at the other boat. I like what I see.
And the lead starts to grow for Emirates Team New Zealand on the right-hand side of your screen, up to 160 meters over the Americans.
And watching it getting soft in this corner too, but there's nothing special. Yeah, probably has. Full of the boys. Yeah, good pressure. Let's keep it down. This next little transition.
Let's go back and look at the start one more time. This is where Dean Barker really earning his money right here as we take a look at it on virtual reality.
Well, the guys talked on Oracle about actually just going for the pin end, or the right-hand end, the starboard end, actually. And they decided at the last second to bail out, probably too late. They went for this hook move too late. Barker just fends it off, keeps him in tight, doesn't get too close to the line, wins the start. Really well done by the Kiwis. Look at that, no overlap. If there was an overlap here, Todd, the whole thing changes and Oracle's ahead by a mile. But that 8 or 10 feet between the boats right there is all the difference that need to be made by the Kiwis to actually dominate that start.
Virtual reality brought to you by Virtual Eye as the Americans trying to close the gap on Emirates Team New Zealand. The Kiwis just one win away from claiming the America's Cup and taking it away from Oracle Team USA.
It's all about staying in the pressure right now. This is where tacticians make their money. Ben Ainsley and Ray Davies, this is a battle amongst wits right now.
Yeah, all the way. 30 seconds to a jibe. Got to stand by here, boys. Stand by. Hit the speed on. All the way, Jimmy. Good pressure here. 20 seconds. Stay with us. Good gain still.
How about the Americans? They were down by 150 meters, and here they are now leading by 15.
I think what you're seeing is again, kind of like we've seen this whole series, at least so far in this race, two pretty even boats that when you get a puff or, you know, get a little breeze in your favor, you gain. It's that simple. And here's a big cross. They might have a piece of these guys.
Oracle has the right of way on starboard as they come together.
Starboard! Starboard! Jesus, fuck's sake!
And I have a feeling we're going to have a protest.
Put it in the hands of the umpires. This is going to be very interesting.
Well, from my viewpoint, I didn't think it was a foul.
Boy, it was a bit of a Hollywood if it wasn't a foul by the Oracle guys. They sure tried to sell it. Let's see if they sold it properly.
Even still, they take the lead.
What do you think of the zero after the turn?
Talking about setting that
Umpires taking a long time here, Gary. But you're right, Oracle has taken the lead no matter what.
After the turn. We'll do it after, Joe. Yeah, keep sailing fast. Go, Tommy, go really quick. Good pressure this way.
Well, this could be a game changer depending on what the umpires decide.
Well, not really, because right now they would just make Team New Zealand get behind anyway. So in essence, by losing the lead here, they've actually done their penalty already. But I've never seen the umpires take, well, there it is.
There it is.
Wow, so the Hollywood works for Oracle. You know, Gary and I both thought there was distance in between the boats, but man, they sold it well.
Instantaneously, the penalty is completed, so you called it right. So the Americans take the lead, they sell it, and the officials say New Zealand found the Americans. So it's the Americans now in the lead by more than 100 meters. Here it is again.
45 seconds.
That little, what the umpires determined was if Oracle hadn't changed direction here, they would have had a collision. So they listen. They have everything sorted out in that back room. Yeah,
It would have been close, Ken.
it would have been close. We'll have. This will be debated for a long time, but nonetheless, Oracle took the lead, takes the pressure off the umpires here, to be honest, because Oracle was going to take the lead here no matter what.
Oracle almost lost a crew member who was crossing at this point. Didn't see it coming. Jimmy Spittle takes evasive action. Back to a live
You want to
shot.
make it big, yeah. You want to make it look close.
Pass my call.
Can New Zealand get down to this gate, or are they going to have to jibe one more time? Here's another incredibly tactical situation in light air on 72-foot foiling catamarans.
One quick thing, the breeze is better to the right side of the course. That will favor New Zealand if they ever go get around the gate.
Hang on, jibing. Right turn, right turn, right turn. Now we're going to jibe back.
Right in front. The Americans pull it off right in front of the Kiwis at gate number 2.
And the Kiwis decide to jibe back and go for the other gate. They're going to be really slow here trying to pull this maneuver off. Really slow.
Big game. Nice and smooth.
2 jibes in close succession, big mistake.
And they can't get down low enough to the mark. They're not going to be gaining speed very, very soon.
And nice and smooth, guys.
Current's going right to left in this picture.
Holy smokes, what a turn of events. The cross and then Jimmy Spithill right in front of Dean Barker and Ray Davies, and it brings them almost to a complete halt, and there's the lead, 100 meters.
The difference again was just meters. If Emirates Team New Zealand could have soaked a little bit lower and made that left gate, it would have been a dead even split. But the fact that they had to do that last minute maneuver really slowed them down, put them behind here, going up leg number 3.
Look at it.
Well, let's take a look at one more time on virtual eye, and here it was, the Americans on the left, the Kiwis on the right.
The mark on the lower left-hand side is the mark that Oracle's going to be going after, because the other boat's inside, so they get into the zone, that 3-boat length zone. They have control of that left-hand mark. Instead of following them in, the Kiwis decide to do a last-minute jibe back again and get super slow. So, hey, very well done by Oracle. They use the 3-boat length circle that we can't see on the left-hand side of our screen, the lower left-hand side. They do a nice, fast maneuver around. Team New Zealand gets really slow, and Oracle breaks out to a nice little lead.
We're looking at live pictures now as the Americans have the lead, 260 meters and growing. So the Kiwis were one leg away from claiming the America's Cup, and Mother Nature shut it down. The time limit was exceeded. The race was abandoned, and here we are in the rerunning of race 13, and now the Americans are clearly in control.
Yeah, 30 seconds from here, underneath that one. Underneath the yacht line.
Yeah. Keep it going here, guys. Nice work. Really good lefting.
So the Americans with the lead. Gary Jobson, are they on the right course right now? Do you like where they're sitting?
20 seconds.
I do. I like the right side of the course where Oracle Team USA is. There's a little bit more breeze over there right now. And hey, a special note, we have about 29 minutes left in the time limit. There's going to be no problem with the time limit in this race.
Nice, Tommy.
They have learned how to tack this boat. And it's, I guess the question that people all around the docks here in San Francisco keep asking, what took them so long? The Kiwis really were showing this off during the whole Louis Vuitton series. Why didn't Oracle pick up on that earlier? It might have cost them a couple races early on in this series.
be a nice game. Look at attack under this one, Dino.
Back on board with Emirates, Team New Zealand. They are sitting on 8 wins, needing only one more to claim the 34th America's Cup.
5, 3, 2, 1.
Let's not forget, it has been a couple days since the Kiwis have won a race. Remember, go back to day number 9, race number 12. Only one race was contested that day. The Americans won it, and fresh off the abandonment of race 13, so momentum clearly on the side of Oracle Team USA, but heartbreaking for the Kiwis of what they did in the first race today, which was abandoned, is they made the turn at Mark 4, and they just ran out of time.
But they're climbing back into this again. You know, do not count them out. They have shown calm and being calm and collected in the toughest of spots, but this is a tough spot, knowing that they had the cup in their hands after the race about an hour and a half ago.
One leg away.
Standing by. 2, 1,
Okay, I think they're going back in this pressure. Let's just see what it does.
I reckon just get it going.
Yeah, big lefty here. It's going straight for a second. Just get her on the foil, I reckon. A little fast, mate.
On board with the Cup defenders, Oracle Team USA. They trail right now 8 wins to 2. They need to win out. The Kiwis looking for just one more victory to take the Cup back to Auckland.
Look out there in the middle of the bay right now. Oracle's in a big left-hand shift. The breeze has gone left for both of these boats. It's a tough time to be a tactician, especially in boats that don't maneuver very well. You have to commit to areas of the race course sometimes that you don't necessarily want to be, but then be patient. Will their patience be rewarded?
Let's go back and take a look at a replay on virtual eye, and here's how the Americans got this lead, Kenny, as they split the course. The Kiwis forced into a bad situation.
Little left-hand shift in the upper left-hand corner of the race course. Oracle does a nice job getting across, but it was really all set up by that bottom mark. That bottom mark is where Team New Zealand had to over-maneuver. They had to try to create a split, and sure enough, it cost them valuable distance and the upper hand in this race. But it's not over, Todd. We've seen that too many times.
You think back to just a week ago, and leg number 3 was certainly the downfall of Oracle Team USA. They just could not figure out how to make their tacks quicker, and it didn't matter what lead they had after the first 2 legs. The Kiwis would just track them down. Not the case anymore.
Are you sure it was just a week ago?
Keep it going here.
It was a month ago, wasn't it? But I mean, Kiwis are reeling them in here a little bit. You know, this is hard. This is hard conditions. Just light, spotty wind shifts.
The key for New Zealand right now is to keep it close so they have a chance at that leeward mark. By close, I would say 200 meters is the minimum that they need to be if they hope to have a chance of catching up.
Happy? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Believe Todd, today this is the only time we've seen passes downwind in this whole series, maybe the whole event for that matter. And it's the lighter air. It's the ability to jive and jump the other guy really quickly and get on top of his breeze.
No foiling, just he continues.
Hey, you're going to get real shifty,
He may hit this side.
New Zealand's going to be careful here not to stay on this course. If they do, when they attack, they're going to be slammed. They need to attack right away.
Okay, happy to go first. I think we're set up here anyway, Dino. If he hits us, it's okay. We bounce back, yep.
Ray Davies talking there to Dean Barker, saying happy to set up here. If he hits us, we're good to go. Translate.
I think it's not a great time to attack, though, if you're New Zealand. They're in a big left shift out here right now. If you do attack, you're really going to be out of sequence with the wind. Yeah, you see they hold, and they've both been wound up considerably to the left, and they have to kind of hold this out for a minute, or they'd really be putting themselves in a tough spot.
Which is a big mistake by New Zealand, because if they attacked right away, they would have been further to the left. They would have gained.
pressure.
Dead faster.
Okay.
Possibility of
Yeah, I
laying.
have to go quicker here.
Okay.
At some point we've got to think about laying.
Yeah. Just keep going. We might get that bit right.
These guys can change modes so dramatically. You saw New Zealand actually up on their foils for a minute. They're just trying to accelerate out from underneath the bad air, the disturbed air, the wing wash of Oracle Team USA. They can use their speed to do that.
Oracle's not far from the ley line, Kenny.
And it looks like they're just going to hold it out, Gary, and just do one maneuver in and hopefully just gain by lack of tacking.
Yeah, the big mistake by New Zealand was not tacking immediately when Oracle tacked on their briefs. They really lost an opportunity.
Good pressure inside you. Don't try and foil here. Let's just keep it. Take the height. Copy. And then we'll lay if we take the height. Copy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm high moded.
Still high mode, Carl.
Still high mode here. Yeah, nice guys.
Higher if we can.
Definitely run the right hand back gate.
Look at that. The left-hand shift is so dramatic that it looks like they're going to lay the mark.
Really good sleep on you.
Boy, sometimes, Todd,
Nice and smooth, boys.
it's just your day. And this big wind shift right here is proof that today appears to be Oracle's day.
Won't be long with this left.
Probably, yeah.
Just check now.
40 seconds.
Got 40 seconds.
Look for Oracle to jibe almost immediately after rounding and head straight down for the lure gate.
Exactly.
I think you can uncount now. We'll get right hand out of it. Yeah. Should work nice. I don't reckon they'll lay. By the time they get here, it'll shift back.
Bottom of the screen, it's a little dark patch right there, Todd. That could be a right-hand shift. Oracle could get around in the nick of time, and Team New Zealand might actually get stuck in a right-hand shift out here as they approach.
At gate number 3, it's the Americans first to make the turn for home. They have stretched their lead out. This is well over 400 meters as the Kiwis now will try to track them down, knowing that the cut is so very close.
Keep working, boys. Nice job.
Okay, 40 seconds. No panic. Happy to continue.
I think sailors around the world are just shaking their heads at how quickly fortunes have changed in this event.
Happy, go.
Remember, Dean Barker had the lead at gate number 1 by 3 seconds. A fantastic job by Jimmy Spithill down at gate number 2 and put them in a hole, and now they are starting to make it stretch up to 46 seconds. The Kiwis are behind the Americans. So the Americans head off for mark number 4. Dean Barker and Emirates Team New Zealand try and track them down.
Okay, pressure will go down from here. He's jive inside it, so no problem.
I'll tell you what a difference a race makes, Gary Jobson. 45 minutes ago, we were talking about New Zealand winning this thing, and then the time limit snuck in.
You know, we were just by Oracle Team USA. They came right by regardless here just moments ago, and that crew looked pretty darn happy. They've got the momentum, and that's going to carry forward in the next couple days.
Nice pressure from now. Nice pressure from now. Really good.
Wind running perfect right now, 14 knots, peaking at 16.2, and the Oracle Team USA outfit looks very good.
Yeah, I wouldn't count it out. Yeah, good call, good call. Let's get ahead of you. I think it's good, no job.
The lead is more than 600 meters. The second to last leg here on day number 10, race 13. And the Americans are in firm control with the Kiwis needing just one more win to take away the America's Cup. Jimmy Spithill and company are saying not so fast.
Big wind shift on this leg. Essentially, they've jibed, and they're actually both below the mark right now. They're both sailing well below the mark. They'll start reaching up to it. really an impossible scenario for Emirates Team New Zealand at this stage. There's no passing lanes. If you're just heading straight at the other mark, it's flat out boat speed contest, and we've proven that both of these boats can reach pretty quick.
Two big mistakes by Emirates Team New Zealand. On that leg 3 going downwind, they allowed Oracle Team USA to get on their breeze. That slowed them down. The foul, another mistake. And then upwind, they had one chance to get to the left. They stayed in the bad wind of Oracle, and it's in this position now.
And Gary, in all your experience around the America's Cup, have you ever seen a team on the last leg of what would be the winning race and have it canceled because time limit, only to come back in the next race and absolutely just get worked on the water?
Well, the only race that's analogous to this in the America's Cup was race 7 in 1983. Dennis Conner leading at the 4th of 6 legs and ended up being passed on the 5th leg, and Australia 2 passed him and won the America's Cup.
I think we'll be fine. More pressure than last time.
Well, if this lead holds up for Oracle Team USA, they will now need just 6 wins to win and keep the America's Cup, and the Kiwis still just needed that one precious victory.
With these guys standing up, they're talking about every scenario that could possibly go wrong. They have time because they're just reaching down the course. What if the breeze goes light? What if we need a code 0? What if we need this? That's really smart. They're going through every possible scenario and what their solution would actually be.
Beat to the finish, good call.
And they just said beat to the finish. This breeze has gone so far to the left that for the first time in this event, they may be hard on the wind going in towards America's Cup Park.
Well, anything that makes the course longer is good for New Zealand.
What about, like, if we dive and have to hoist it, do it to leeward or? Real soft up here, Jimmy.
Sure looks light, dead up ahead of them there.
We can nearly set it up on the other side. You know? It's probably after a minute, there's no way we'll hoist it on this job. Okay. Nah. Nice pressure coming in 30 seconds.
Creating every scenario in your mind, not just as an individual, but you have to do it as a team here, Todd, because if you're not on the same page with the rest of the people who are grinding these sails up and down, back and forth, foils, everything else, you're going to fail. So you need your help from your buddies, and that's what they're trying to do as a team right now. Code 0 going up on Team New Zealand.
So the Americans have the lead, and they can see Mark 4 in the distance. Can they round it cleanly and get the win? We'll find out. Wind actually dying down just a little bit as the Americans make their way towards mark number 4. 12 knots is what we're reading on a constant, peaking at 14.3.
The big thing will be if they come off the foils. That's when the zeros will come out if they come off the foils. Doesn't look like they're off the foils right there, Todd.
Stand by, lads. Joey. Okay, Jimmy. Happy. Go button, Tommy. Go forward, Simeon. Got a little head on Tommy. Okay. No problem on payment over. Roll up. You got straight over, right, Tommy? 30 seconds. 20 seconds on the ball.
The Americans executing a beautiful jibe foil, still have the lead. Mark number 4 just at the bottom of your screen. They'll make a right-hand turn and head for home, and if all things hold together, the Americans will pick up another victory, and it'll take their needed wins down to 6, with the Kiwis still just needing that one win to take the cup away.
Trying to twist when you, camber when you can, right? No problem, guys.
2 beautiful jibes by Oracle Team USA. They've come so far with their maneuvering and their boat handling. Very, very well done as they come into that last gate.
Let's keep it high out of this. Yeah, I mean, Tommy's right. We want to just hot out of this guy. Yeah, attack the high side.
Mark number 4, the Americans first to it, and now they head for home.
Good pressure, looks good pressure all the way in. Hands up. Don't think we'll have an issue.
25, 20 seconds. 10.
So the lead for the Americans is growing to in excess of 30 seconds, and now they are close to getting to the finish and getting the win. And for Emirates Team New Zealand, Kenny, this has got to be a day of what could have been. They were in this exact same position right about here when the race came to termination point earlier today. It was waved off. They were clearly over 1,000 meters ahead of the Americans, and just not enough time.
I think we're too close to the sailors in this case. We feel their frustration, and we're thinking, oh, they just want it to end. But I know for a fact, talking to my friends back at home in Newport tomorrow, every bar full in Newport is full right now of people hoping this thing keeps going for a long, long time, because this is exciting stuff. And really, this is sailing like sailing has never seen before.
Nice little stick. 4 sailors soft to get you to the line. You know what I mean?
Ken, the scene is exactly the same in Annapolis, Maryland.
So around the USA, let the celebration begin. The America's Cup will continue on for at least one more day. Oracle Team USA have come through with a victory in race number 13.
Just an astounding day. A remarkable day. It's speechless. These guys have 9 lives. No wonder they're sailing a cat.
Stress levels. Nice one.
And the final delta continues to grow. Congratulations all the way around. The Americans were 1 leg away from losing this. And Kenny, if we do a little quick math, you're probably talking about in that first race we saw today, what, the Kiwis needed maybe another 4 minutes?
I'd say 4 minutes at the very most.
So 4 minutes away from losing the America's Cup. The race is terminated because of the time limit of 40 minutes. They reset. The Kiwis get the better start as race 13 was started again, but it was the Americans that took it over, and at gate number 2, they make it stretch on leg 3, and they're able to extend this regatta for yet another day. We will see a day 11.
We're gonna find a lot out about Kiwi resolve at this stage. We've talked about pressure, we've talked about momentum change, but this is like nothing we've ever seen, nothing I've ever seen in the sport of sailing.
So the Kiwis come across the line 1 minute and 24 seconds behind Oracle, but the damage has been done. First by Mother Nature, and then by Jimmy Spithill.